Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things that I found interesting was you mentioned that you believe in like the North American church, uh, like half the people going to church are probably not even Christians, and just I can't remember the
I
exact.
did say that, didn't
Yeah,
I?
yeah,
Something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Talk,
That's a huge call.
yeah, talk to me about that. What do you see in the church in North America?
Oh man, Kyle, not even any small talk today.
I don't do small
Just
talk,
not
and
even
I hate small
not
talk.
even gonna
Small talk
bother with it.
sucks.
Like
What do you want to small talk
I don't
about?
know. Usually Gary gives
The tea?
his real estate lowdown.
Yeah, can you be with Gary for a minute?
I don't think I can. I don't think I can do it justice. But hello, I'm Gary Baars. Right? So, let me talk to you about real estate. I don't know. Um, he's he's usually a little bit more fun at the beginning. You're usually more fun with him at the beginning.
Oh,
You just launched me right into it here.
hey, that
All right, okay, whatever. You should tell these guys about how much pain you're in, like
a lot,
with your back right now.
a lot.
It's crazy.
T3s, yeah, other
It's
stuff.
powerful medication.
Getting hopefully an MRI soon.
Wow, I can fix that for you.
And just jump them back.
Just kick you right in the back. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I hope you get past it. Anyway, what you asked me? What was your
Church, half a church in North America.
Oh yeah, I did say that. It was a conversation where we were going on a walk, and it was not superficial. So I did say it. I got to own up to it. Yeah, I think that a lot of Christian claims aren't real discipleship. I'm not saying all. But I think a lot of them. Yeah, but I mean, I could be wrong. Hopefully.
You're not nearly as bold right now as we are on the walks.
No.
Shoot straight here. Why do you think this? Like, what do you see in the church?
Just so everybody knows, I the reason that I'm not being as blunt is because I do get nervous around crowds of people, and it's hit me that there's like 1,000 people going to be watching this, right? So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Look, discipleship in Scripture is pretty severe, right? It's not.
What does that even mean? Discipleship.
It means an absolute devotion to Christ at any cost.
Okay.
And that's not often what I see.
Okay.
Right.
What do you often see?
I think easy believism is something that's a bit of a blight on the church. And also like, not just I believe, but I'm doing the right stuff. I go to church and I might even pay my tithe, right? But I'm not sure there's much. I don't hear or see much affection for Christ, for Jesus. Much. Like if you love somebody, there's at least, a testimony that you do. Not just I believe in him, but I love him. Anyway, I don't think it's, and hopefully it's just in the, the broad circles that I've seen.
And I think I remember you saying this was in large part, you believe, due to the preaching.
Did I say that?
Yeah, I think you did. Like that there's just like, you said everyone's getting fed milk, and like, so in somewhere in Scripture, you can probably help me with this, but where Paul rebukes the church for saying, hey, like you're just drinking milk still, that's all you can handle. You need to start eating spiritual meat.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you believe that the churches are filled with milk, but people aren't actually getting like preached like substantive stuff. Now, this is like,
but I don't think that's. If I said that, that's what I think is the most of the problem. I think I'd have to retract that. Okay. I think it's a problem, okay, but I don't think it's most of the problem. I think most of the problem is that people don't want to carry a cross and follow Jesus, because a cross is costly, and that was the terms of Jesus's discipleship.
So what is that like in modern?
Like that's what he said. He said, if anybody desires to follow me, then they must take up their cross daily and follow me. Right.
So what does that practically look like in today's world? Like I can understand in like Iran or whatever, that means like, hey, you have to, you want to be a Christian and you're going to get killed.
It's easily translated. Easily translated.
Okay.
So if that's what it means in Iran, that's what it means here.
Okay, so what does that taking up your cross practically look like?
Well, a cross is a place of death. So if a person really is going to follow Jesus, then it means that the self themselves have to find the place of death. But even in my own life, right? Like I have to come before the Lord constantly and stop trying to find blessing and his approval for what I want, how I want to live, and my success, my ambitions, my dreams. And God is secondary to my life. And I think that's what it means to carry a cross. A cross means that my life is stapled to it, dies there, and discipleship to Christ is a life in him first. So I'm being judgmental. I don't like to be judgmental, certainly not publicly.
I don't know if it's judgmental, if it's just what you're observing. But but you just said a whole bunch of nice theological statements, but I still don't know how that practically.
Okay, I'll give you a practical example. 2 employees work together. They don't get along. They're both calling themselves Christians, right? They get into a massive fight and they start arguing. And one is probably more right than the other. The one that's definitely wrong lashes out and starts swearing and cursing, get out of my face and all kinds of vulgar language. And at the end of that conversation, both are still calling themselves Christians, both are still calling themselves disciples, and both are calling themselves filled with the love of Christ. It's absolutely impossible for both those things to be true. So carrying the cross would mean that the person who calls themselves a Christian would basically lay themselves down for the sake of the other. So if there's one that's more right, he says, something, I'm sorry, brother. Please forgive me. I didn't mean to bring you to this point where, even though he knows that he might be right. And if he thinks he might be right, all the more he needs to take the humble road if he calls himself a Christian. That's rare. So that's just a practical example of where that person's self has to die, but often he won't.
What do you think that looks the same?
That's just an example.
Yeah. You think it looks the same in like a country setting, like in war? Like when do you would you believe in righteous war? Like is there defending yourself, or like because what you're kind of implying there is like just rolling over and taking it. Like at some point you do have to stand up for yourself.
Yeah. Okay. I don't. So in that context, both are calling themselves brothers, Christians, right? So
okay, fair enough.
And that's a real life example. So, but in times of war or violence, that's something different, especially if you're protecting more than yourself, like your family or your home or whatever. That's a very different kind of question. I don't think rolling over and just taking abuse is what God calls us to be, but I'm talking about with regards to how I am willing or unwilling to take myself from a pedestal, even though I've earned it, even though it's my right, to take myself off yourself. Yeah, that's right. And I think that's just one example of how Christians won't do that.
You said earlier that you feel like there's people that go to church. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.